Hello, Rob.
How you doing, Liz? You all right?
Yeah, I'm great. Thanks, Bo. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm so excited to talk to you. And guys, for you that don't know, this is Rob. He's from Pure Life. And he has basically fitted all the filters in my house, the whole house filter and the reverse osmosis. And I'm so happy with the products, and I just can't wait to get into it with you, really.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me on, Liz. I appreciate that. It's always nice to have a chat with you. I love our chats. They're always quite conscious, so I'm sure it'll be a good one.
Yeah, no, definitely. We could, to be fair, go off topic quite easily with this, me and you, couldn't we? So talk to me about how you started like thinking about water and why you decided to like do what you're doing now, basically.
Right, okay. So, quite, it must have been about 6 years ago now. My nan, she's gone now, but yeah, she basically she had a mini stroke. So what it was, I started researching into ways to help her. Things obviously to help reduce obviously the effects of a stroke. Because after people have a stroke, their kind of cognitive function kind of declines.
Yeah.
So what it was, one of the ways that I found was helpful was actually distilled water. They do say it's kind of like a bit of a. It's not so much of a hidden secret anymore, but when I was researching it probably 6 years ago, it was quite, there was a lot of misinformation out there about it, and a lot of people were saying, oh, it takes all the minerals out your body and stuff like this and things like that, which isn't necessarily true. But anyway, to cut a long story short, yeah, I basically got into it like that. And I obviously got my nan a water distiller. I experienced straight away after distilling, because basically, you know what a water distiller is, right? It's like
Yeah, I used to have one.
yeah, exactly, right. So you imagine after you've run the first 4 liters of water and it's filtered it, you're left with all the gunk in the tank after, right?
Gross.
Yeah, exactly. So after seeing that, it was just kind of yeah, it was a bit of an eye opener, and it was one of them moments that I wouldn't. Yeah, I just realised that wow, like there's so much crap in the water that yeah, it was just something that just changed my whole perspective on the water after that. And even my nan, she was someone that where she was a lot older, she was from a generation where she well, I mean, most of us, we all drank tap water growing up most of our lives, but my nan was adamant that the tap water was fine and everything like that. And she was, no, 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 it's fine, it's fine. But even after she saw that and smelt the smell of it and everything like that and saw the chemicals that were coming out the bottom after it finished distilling, she never went back to drinking normal water again. So that was a testament in itself. Uh, so yeah, that was how I kind of got into it, and then I promoted. That was a water distiller company called H2O Labs, uh,
Right.
and I wasn't getting paid for it or anything like that, but for years, just because I was so uh, passionate about it and I believed in the product so much, and I believed in the importance of clean water because obviously we're made of between 65, 50%, depending on whether you're a male or you're a child or female or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, percent water. I just believed in it, so I promoted it to everybody. I wasn't making any commissions or anything like that, and people would always ask me. They'd always say like, "So are you getting paid off for this?" And I was like, "No, literally, I'm just promoting like their company, because I
Yeah.
know it's a good water distiller." And I'm still saying that now. Do you know what I mean? Even though I've got my own company now and stuff like that, because
I
I
get
know
asked
people.
that stuff all the time, babe. Like literally, I think people think, but when you're passionate about something and you believe in something, you want other people to experience that. Like you're not getting, I think people are so used to someone getting something out of something where
Yeah,
what
exactly.
you get from it is knowing that that family is now drinking good water. Do you know what I mean?
That's the whole point of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's one of the ones, but like you say, people don't seem to understand that sometimes. But so yeah, that was kind of where my passion for water started, really. And then after just doing that, and I would talk to just all sorts of random people. I'm like that as a person. If I'm out or I'm here or there, I just start talking to people sometimes. You know what I mean? I'm just a bit like that. And yeah, I just talk to people and just promote obviously clean water. And then one day, I think it was I can't, it was a friend of mine. He said like, why don't you start selling these? So I started thinking about it, and then as I was looking into it, I was looking to get some water distillers and stuff like that. And the more and more that I thought about it, like, I started to think to myself, you know, the only issue with a water distiller, right? It's great if there's just one of you, but if there's any more than one of you, you're going to need more than 4 liters of water a day, right?
Yeah.
So then that's when I started to kind of research more into it, start to find out about the reverse osmosis systems. Then I delved into everything to do with reverse osmosis and realized that reverse osmosis also removes 99% of all of the heavy metals, the chemicals, the fluoride, the bacteria, everything, you know, the pharmaceuticals, the PFAs, in the same way that distilled water does, you know.
Yeah.
So that's when I started to realize, oh, okay, so it's either distilled water or reverse osmosis water. That's what we need to get the highest removal rate of chemicals and contaminants. So I got a little bit tongue tied there. But yeah, basically that's when I then realized, okay, so I want to get involved with the reverse osmosis side of things because yeah, really, like it gives you a larger volume of water, if that makes sense. Like, obviously, you know what it's like with yourself. If you had a distiller, then it's one of them ones where you'll be constantly filling it up. And if you've got maybe a partner or kids or stuff like that, you've got a bigger family, more of you, you're going to be filling it up 2, 3 times a day, and it's almost a full-time job, you know.
100%.
Yeah, so it was one of them ones where, yeah, in the end, I was like, right, yeah, reverse osmosis is the way that I want to go. I want to stock reverse osmosis systems. And then, yeah, that's when I started to look into the pitfalls of reverse osmosis. And one thing that I was finding a lot of people were complaining about was the fact that it didn't add any minerals back and it took a lot of minerals out of your water, right? So then I started kind of researching into that and thinking, right, well, how can we remineralize it? And I looked at kind of the structure of nature, right? And obviously, nature, how it works is obviously you know the process, like you'd probably learned in school, like we did a long time ago, right?
Those
Where
little diagrams in it with the stream and the rock.
exactly, yeah, that's it, exactly, with the sun and everything like that. And the sun shines down on the sea, and then that distills the water. Obviously, any of the salts and the heavy stuff's left behind goes up into the cloud as condensation, then obviously rains down into the valleys, like you say, into the streams and stuff like that, and then lands on the rocks and runs through the rocks in the rivers all the way back down to the sea, right? And on the way back down, it picks up minerals and stuff like that. So yeah, it was one of them ones where I said, all right, so we need to get some kind of rock. So yeah, I started looking into it, researching it more, and then obviously just started looking at good types of rocks that add minerals back and also that raise the pH of the water. So yeah, we managed to get, well, it's like 3 different types of natural rocks. We've got tourmaline, calcite, and then mayfan. And you can look all of them up and you can look all the benefits up of them as well. They're cool. They've got some good benefits. Some of them are like, some of them have got even spiritual benefits and stuff like that, you know. And they can help with energy blockages. I don't know if you were into all that yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not massively into stones and crystals and stuff like that, but I do obviously understand that they definitely have powers.
Yeah.
I know some people are really into that, so they do have even a spiritual side in regards to that as well. But in regards to the water purification, what they do is they remove heavy metals. They can also well, what it does, it will give a negative charge to the water.
Mhm.
So if you don't know about negative and positive charge, what that is basically, you know what a free radical is, right? Like in our bodies. So obviously a free radical is like a toxin that just flies around our body and causes damage everywhere that it goes, right?
And they live on like positive, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah, exactly. So they're like positively charged. So when you have negatively charged water like distilled water or like our reverse osmosis water, what that does is that combats free radicals and it kind of it binds to them and neutralizes them and then pulls them out of your body in
Yeah.
essence, which is what you want, obviously. That so that's where the water then becomes anti-inflammatory, and all of that. You know, it's a good thing because there is a bit of a misconception. People say, "Oh no, like this," they say about distilled water and even reverse osmosis water. They say like, "Oh no, it pulls minerals out your body," but it's not necessarily true, you know. In actuality, like we only get about 1% of our mineral like recommended daily intake from water anyway. So as long
Yeah,
as you're living a healthy lifestyle and you're eating your fruits and your vegetables and maybe taking I don't know, your supplements, your sea moss, your stuff like that,
yeah,
then do you know what I mean? You're going to be fine. You don't really need to worry about getting your mineral content from water.
yeah,
But if you are worried about that, and then we've got that covered anyway, because that was kind of one of the points when I look at things, yeah, and I start getting into them, I think, well, how can I make this better? Like
hmm,
rather than just trying to go along and do what everybody else is doing, I try and look at how I can do the same thing, but then make it better, you know. So, yeah. Long story short, we ended up adding an alkaline remineralization filter to our reverse osmosis system.
yeah.
What it does is it adds about 70 beneficial minerals back into the water. It raises the pH of the water to a slightly alkaline pH, around 7.2. Yeah, and also it activates the water as well, so it gives it kind of, like I said, a negative charge,
Mm.
which is actually a good thing because then, like I said, it cancels out the free radicals and pulls them out of your body. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that really. But yeah, that's kind of my journey so far with yeah, with water and stuff like that. And obviously, I mean, the company's fairly new. We're a fairly new company. But yeah, it's something that myself and my own personal journey I've been into for a long time. But it's something that I've only just recently formulated into a company in the last in the last period of time. You know?
Yeah, good for you, man. I mean, literally, like, since I got put in touch with you by, of course, the amazing Claire, who is literally my like go-to for everything. When I was speaking to you and I found out that you do the whole remineralization, um and that's what made you so different, because I've been looking at putting an RO in for so long, and then obviously when
Yeah,
I was like sold, mate, like straight away. Do you know what I mean? Because you guys have taken it to another level. And also I feel safer. It's starting to come out in the press now. We're not just conspiracy theorists that say, there's fluoride in the tap water, there's this, that in the tap water. It's actually like in black and white in front of us now. And I think, I did the whole bottled water thing for like a good 12 years. Like, no tap water has touched my body for a good 12, 13 years now. But the bottled water is no good because of all the microplastics, how
yeah, that's the trouble.
stagnant, it's been sitting in supermarkets with that light, like in a stagnant, like it's no good for us. So I do think investing in something like this is absolutely a necessity, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely, Liz. You're absolutely right. I mean, yeah, to be fair, I forgot to mention that myself actually, but yeah, I did. Like when I became aware of that, I would still be drinking bottled water. I was drinking spring water for a long while, Highland Spring, right?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I thought like, oh, okay, yeah, this is much better. And then it's shocking, really, because in the last couple of years, once we've actually, now that I'm fully into the water industry and stuff like that, we've tested Highland Springs specifically. And I mean, it's still full of just crap, you know. Obviously, like you say, it's full of microplastics. And we did like an electrolysis test on it recently, and it came up. It came up for presence of arsenic as well, you know. So yeah, I mean, maybe I shouldn't say that because they'll probably try and sue me or something. But it
No.
is what it is. But yeah, it's a mad one, really. We did it. We were at a London Expo. This was like 2 months ago, and we were testing it in front of like crowds, you know, because people in the crowd were just passing by, and a lot of them were drinking bottled water. So
Yeah,
we asked like a random passerby. We said, "Look, can we just use your water there?" So we just used a bottle of Highland Spring.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, exactly, and just put it up against our reverse osmosis water,
Yeah.
and yeah, it didn't fare well. So yeah, that was that really. But yeah, like you say, it's one of them ones where even just the money that you'll spend on bottled water itself. I mean, like even for something like Highland Spring, it's probably when I was drinking it was about £1.10 for a litre and a half or something like that. So
Yeah,
even when you look at the money that you're going to spend that over a year, it still works out much cheaper to get a reverse osmosis system or something like that.
100%.
It's going to take out literally 99% of all of the chemicals, all the contaminants. That's your heavy metals, your PFAs, your pharmaceuticals. because it is, the water's just so polluted these days that
Gross.
it's crazy. You know what I mean? It is crazy. So it's one of them ones really. Like it's an investment in your health,
100%.
and it's an investment long term as well. You know, it's something that I understand. You know, it's a bit of an initial outlay, but after your first year, it's easily paid itself off. And then after that, all you've got to really worry about is just changing the filters once a year. You know,
Yeah,
which,
and I don't think what people realize as well, I think they think, oh, like some people have said to me before, like we boil our water. And I'm like,
oh
you guys don't get it.
yeah,
Like we're told that, oh yeah, if you boil your water, like all of the nastiness just disappears. In fact, it can make
yeah,
it more toxic. Do you know what I mean?
definitely, it does. It does make it more toxic in some circumstances as well, especially if the water's fluoridated.
Yeah.
What it does is if it's got fluoride in it, it kind of it breaks the molecular structure of the fluoride, and then that actually becomes worse. And as well, obviously, um, when you're boiling fluoridated water, obviously where you're losing water, because obviously water evaporates, fluoride doesn't evaporate, so you end up with a higher concentration of it in the water as well, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. And then
gross.
obviously, the thing is, back in the day, like hundreds of years ago, that was great, yeah, boiling water, because you were probably getting it out of a river or something like that, yeah. So their main concern back then was boiling water to kill off bacteria and stuff like that that would have
Oh,
caused sickness, right?
which makes sense.
But
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, it made sense. But these days, it doesn't make sense because we're dealing with lots of different chemicals which they don't break down when you boil them, so, or they
Yeah.
do, but they break down, they don't purify, should we say. It doesn't purify the water
Yeah.
from
I'm at the
boiling.
point I can't have a cup of tea at someone's house. Like that is, I know it's bad and it
No,
is
it's true,
bad, but
it's true.
I
No,
can't go to a cafe and have a cup of tea either because I'm
no,
like,
yeah.
one, it's probably bleached tea bags and let's not
Yeah.
even go down where the milk's from. Do you know what I
Oh,
mean? But it's like the water for me, it just makes me
no,
so paranoid. I'm like, no
no.
thanks.
You know what? It's funny, right? If I'm ever out and stuff like that, like we if we go out or I go to London or something like that, just on and off chance we stop somewhere and have something to eat. So we have a quick something to eat, and then like they always come up and they always say to you like, "Oh, do you want any drinks?" And I'll be honest, I don't drink fizzy drinks. I don't drink. I've completely cut out processed sugar in my life now for quite a long time, right? And that's another good thing. Like, I always recommend that to people because honestly, like it'll be life changing. But anyway, that's I'm not going to divert onto that. But yeah, they'll come up and they say, "Oh, do you want a drink or anything?" I say, "No, we're all right for drinks, thank you though." And then they come back like 2 minutes later, they almost look at you like you're broke or something. You can't afford a drink, like.
And
And
we
then
sat there with our bottles like this.
yeah, exactly. And they'll say, "Oh, do you want some tap water?" And I'm like, "Oh God, no, this is even worse." Yeah, I'm like, "No, thank you, though, thank you." Like I said, and then I do. I usually end up talking to them about it, and that's when I get into it with the waiter or whoever about it, And they
Yeah,
don't.
of course. I
No,
know.
we're funny with our water.
Yeah, 100% funny with everything now at this point.
Yeah,
But I think also what we need to touch on, and it's not just drinking it, it's not just cleaning your clothes with it at this point, because even with the whole house filter, do you know what I mean? It like you're even washing your clothes with
yeah,
purified water, brushing your teeth, it's like cooking with, like giving it to your animals, like
yeah.
that's why as well you guys have the whole house filter, right? So can we chat to people about that side of it as well?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, with the whole house filter, it was one of them ones where when I realised myself that we actually absorbed 60 to 65% of all of the heavy metals and the chemicals and all that stuff that's in the tap water through our skin
Yeah.
when we're showering and bathing and stuff like that. That's when I realised, like, wow, like we've got to try and find a solution for this. So then that's when I kind of started getting into the whole house side of things, and then yeah, kind of really start researching into that. And then once we found, all right, so we're gonna kind of we're gonna create like a whole house water filter slash softener. Then yeah, that's when we kind of started going into it, and I really kind of delved into what was the best way to kind of put, because it's a 4 part process, right, with our whole house ones, the POE systems, right. So I kind of really put together those filters and constructed them in such a way that it takes out as much as it possibly can. I mean, it's not going to remove absolutely everything in the same way that a reverse osmosis filter will,
Yeah.
purely because some of the particles, like the PFAs, for example, or really the fluoride's the main one. Um, the particles are so tiny that you literally can only remove them via water distillation or through a reverse osmosis filter, because it's got such a small membrane. It's
Yeah.
such a tiny hole in the filter that it won't let anything through. You know, it literally only lets the tiniest bit of water through. So that's the only way you can remove fluoride completely. I mean, our whole house ones, they will reduce it, but
Yeah.
they won't remove it. And I mean, if anybody's telling you that their filter can completely remove fluoride, and it's not a reverse osmosis or it's not a water distiller, then it's not the truth. Do you know what I
No,
mean?
it's not, because I had like filters on the shower, filters on the bath, and that wasn't removing it fully. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I feel like with the whole house filter, at least the chlorine,
Oh,
like
good. Yeah,
pharmaceuticals, and you
yeah,
put your child, for example, like now I have a little one. It's
yeah,
even a step further because you're putting them in the bath, aren't you? And they're playing in the bath, the water goes in the mouth, and it's just like, for me anyway, personally, it's like horrific to think of like what is in that
yeah.
water.
Yeah, no, it's right. It's right. And that is it, exactly that. And what, yeah. So going back to it, the whole house filter, it will remove things like chlorine, chloramine, all of them things there. And yeah, it does. It takes out all your bacterias, because I don't know if you've seen them videos that we shared a little while ago of where that guy he's putting the tap water under a microscope. Have you seen?
Oh
Did you
God,
see it? Yeah.
yeah, of course, babe. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was shocking, wasn't it? Really, but it just shows, because obviously you think about it, like even in our taps and in our tap fittings and stuff like that, and even on the pipeline that comes underneath, under the ground, all the way from the water treatment facility all the way to our house, it's going to be
Yeah,
picking up bacteria and stuff like that along the way, So
of course.
yeah, it's one of them ones where we, believe it or not, we do still have parasites and stuff like that that can live in there.
Yeah,
So yeah, it filters out all of that, and yeah, it's just going to give you that extra protection when you're showering and bathing. You know,
yeah,
so it's a good option, really. It's one of them ones where it's better to have it than not to have it, because, like you say, with the chlorine, for example, when you're showering, I don't know, have you ever had it where you've had a shower and you feel kind of dizzy afterwards?
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
no word of a lie, and it's not even because the shower's been too hot or whatever. It is, you can feel something.
Literally, that's it. And yeah, like you say, I used to presume that was because it was too hot, but it isn't even that. It's just the fact that your shower head. So where the water's coming through your shower head, it's splitting the actual water molecules. And then
Yeah,
when they're splitting like that, they're releasing the chlorine and the gas. So it's releasing the chlorine gas. So then obviously you're breathing it in, and that starts to get you kind of like feeling dizzy and intoxicated. So
gross. I mean, I was living in London before, and I used to love like a long hot bath. This is like pre little one and all that, like sit
yeah,
in the bath, like read a book, whatever. But I could smell it. I have
yeah,
like a really sensitive nose, and I'm also like quite paranoid about this stuff, but I could smell it. Do you know what I mean? Like there was something going, and that's when I started thinking, this ain't just about like what I'm drinking here. This is about what I'm bathing myself in as well.
definitely, yeah, definitely, 100%. And that's it, and that is it. And then when you realize that it's not even just me saying that, you can look into it, like you can do a bit of research. We always encourage people to research these things. Don't just take what I'm saying as gospel truth. Do you know what I mean? Do some research into it, and don't. When I say do research, actually do some research. Don't just type in on Google
Oh yeah,
and
because
read
Google
the
we
first
have
thing on
it.
Google. Yeah, yeah, because that isn't really research, and that's how. I'm not saying that Google do mislead people, but if they wanted to, they couldn't they? So
100%.
yeah, do some research about it. There's plenty of books out there and stuff like that. And you actually have a look, and you'll see that even the studies, the studies show that it's 60 to 65% absorbed through our skin. So
Yeah, our
yeah,
skin's an organ. Do you know what I mean? So it
exactly, yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly that. So yeah, and it's porous, isn't it, our skin? You know, so it just absorbs stuff in. So whatever we put on it, and that's another important thing there. That's why it's important to kind of monitor all round, not just when you're showering and stuff like that, but whatever else you're putting on your skin. You know.
Oh, God, exactly. Like, not to be not to like go off topic or anything, but I do feel like people will spend time like researching, I don't know, out an outfit for Friday night, or like the new car they're gonna get, or this, that, and the other. But I don't think people take the time to actually research like what is going on. Do you know what I mean? Like, what are you putting on your skin? Because for me, since I've been using filters and having clean drinking water and using, say, tallow on my face rather than moisturizer, mate, I don't look like I'm 37. Do you know what I mean? And there's
Yeah,
no
yeah, you
no
don't.
bad skin, none of that, so I really do feel like people need to kind of like invest more time in themselves and like looking into this stuff.
100%. Yeah, definitely. Always encourage that. Always encourage that. Like you say, not just for water, but for everything. You know.
Yeah.
It's
So
definitely that time, you know. It's time to kind of separate and educate ourselves from a lot of the mainstream stuff that's going on, you know.
100%. So after I got the reverse osmosis from you guys and the whole house filter, I then saw you had like a countertop one which you can get the hot water from as well. And I was like, oh, damn it. There are different options as well, aren't there? Like for people that maybe don't have the space. I mean, mine's kind of taken up a lot of my undersink, well, the whole of my undersink because I have the whole house filter. But there you do over the counter, on the counter kind of options as well, don't you?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I mean, we have got some countertop water filters and stuff like that. We do also have it's like a hydrogen reverse osmosis system. So basically, it doesn't come with a tank. It's slightly bigger than our reverse osmosis system, but it's smaller, if that makes sense, because it doesn't have the tank. You don't have to have the additional tank with it. But that's always a good thing as well. It's not cheap because it's relatively new technology, and it's quite decent technology, to be fair. Do you know much about the hydrogen water? I know you do because you got a bottle
I've
yourself,
got
haven't
my little bottle, which again, I took a lot of time to like get the one that I believe, because a lot of these hydrogen bottles, this, that, and the other, they say they produce a certain amount, but it's like very small, and it's like you have to have like a good amount produced to even like feel the effects of it. But I truly
you?
believe in hydrogen water. So if you guys have got an option for that as well, that's amazing.
Definitely, definitely, yeah. It's one of them ones, like you say. There are, and there's so many benefits to it, and they're studying it at the minute. You know, it's still in its early stages of it, really. But from what the studies have shown already, it's incredible. I think like it's got cognitive benefits, you know, so it can improve your memory, repair memory loss, stuff like that. It's got anti-aging benefits. Yeah, lots of different stuff. Anti-inflammatory. Yeah, it's incredible, really. Like some of the stuff, you know, and some of the things that they've even, you know, they try it on. They try it on. I think they try it on rats or mice or something like that. They test it on, but it's shown that it can even stop the growth of cancer cells and things like that. So
Yeah,
there's
that's
no claims there yet, but I'm sure that as time goes on, maybe they won't though. Do you know what I mean? Because that's the thing with these type of things. Sometimes they don't say any more on it, even if it does. Do you know what I mean? So who knows? But yeah, it's something that you should definitely look into as well, and have a look at
yeah.
some of the studies and the benefits of hydrogen water.
So how does your one do that then? So it does the reverse osmosis process and then hydrogenates it at the end, I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
exactly that. So what it does is it deep cleans the water with the reverse osmosis process, and then after that, it infuses it with molecular hydrogen. You know, so and then after you end up with you end up with a 99% pure, clean, alkaline hydrogen water. You know,
Amazing.
yeah,
Well,
it's
sent me both.
yeah, no, no. Like I say, no. But to be fair, it's one of them ones where you know what, yeah, like I still it doesn't. I don't think that you have to have the hydrogen water. Do you know what I mean? I think if you've got the money for that, then great. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the truth of it. If you've got the money for that, then great. Then it's brilliant. Or if you're really keen on your health and you're a bit of a fanatic about it, then yeah, great. Go for the hydrogen one. But if not, yeah, like what is going to be life changing, even just for the average normal person, is just going to be a reverse osmosis system that's just going to give you pure clean water. You know,
100%.
I think like that's kind of like the pinnacle of it. You know what I mean? It's hydrogen water, but
Listen, if you saw my process on a daily, right? So I fill up my 5 litre kilner jar with my reverse osmosis. Then I get my little analemma in there, and then I
That's
put it
another
in
good
my
one
own
to go.
swell, and then I store it. And that is fanatical, like that is wild. But for me, it's also about structuring the water,
Definitely.
making the perfect pH for drinking water as well. So
It does sound wild. You're right. It does sound wild, but it's perfectly. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? It should be perfectly normal,
yeah,
to do that. And I mean, you're right there with the analemma because that's another great thing to do, isn't it? Like just to basically whiz it round a few times and just give that water life again. You know what I mean? So
100%.
yeah, no, props to you, really. And hats
I
off to you with
think
this
I'm
because
nuts, but it's just my normal routine now. That is just how the day goes. Do you know what I mean?
no, 100%. And I mean, that's the thing with a lot of these things. People are gonna look at it from a different way because they don't understand it. They're only they're only looking at it from their level of consciousness. Do you know what I mean? It took me a while to realize these things. I always used to try and, I guess I used to try and prove myself to people, or prove points to people, and then I just kind of realized, look, sometimes people aren't going to get it until they kind of get to that level there, or maybe they won't. But nevertheless, we're all on our own journey and all on our own pace. You know what I mean? Through this life and all on our own path. So yeah, it's one of them ones, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Sometimes people do look a little bit and they do think, oh, that's a bit extreme or a bit mad, but it's not really, you know what I mean?
No, it's not really. And then as well, people wonder why my fruit and veg is growing so nice in the garden. It's like, hey,
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That Cloudbuster's doing
oh,
wonders as
that
well.
cloudbuster's doing some business outside as well.
Definitely, definitely. 'Cause, yeah, I imagine you've seen that one there, haven't you? With like where they use put a copper rod next to one plant, and then they don't put a copper rod next to the other plant. Have you seen that one? Yeah.
Yeah, 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 I have.
And obviously the plant that's next to the copper grows like 4 or 5 times the size.
Yeah,
That's always
100%.
another good thing as well. Like even another good thing that we recommend is copper water bottles
Yeah.
because it's the same thing. It can also give you a lot of benefits, cognitive benefits again, memory, things like that. It's been shown to prove, it's been shown to do a lot of different things like that as well. So
Because
that's
that's
always
it,
something
it's
that we
storing it, isn't it? Like if you're out and about, you need like a glass water bottle or a copper water bottle. You can't be like putting your lovely, mineralized RO water then into
yeah,
like a plastic bottle. It kind of like defeats the object. You know what I mean? So
exactly that. Yeah, exactly that. I couldn't have said it in a better way. So that's it. But we do we're looking at maybe stocking some copper water bottles. But to be fair, we've got so much on all the time now that we've it's one of them ones. Just you can get one on Amazon or you can get one anywhere really. They're easily available. I couldn't give you any recommendations on them in all honesty, like on which brands to use or anything like that. But yeah, grab yourself a copper water bottle or at least a glass one, isn't it?
yeah, 100%. This is quite interesting. Like it's called Flasker. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Okay, no, I haven't. No.
And it basically it can structure the water itself.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It's wild. I don't know how it does it. I'm hopefully gonna get the guy on. But yeah, you literally put your water in here and 5 minutes later it's actually structured and it also holds structured water as well. So there's so many options out there, honestly, for like, how
That's
to
nice.
get water out of you.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And I mean, water's life, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So it's important. It's something that we should be taking serious.
100%. Well,
We
Rob,
should.
thank you so much for coming on and chatting to me about water. And obviously, I'm going to tag you guys, add the website. If anyone wants to get in touch, like Rob is a wealth of knowledge. So if you guys are interested in it, want to know more, there's a question that we haven't, answered on this. Like, you're fine for people to reach out to you guys, right?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, there's probably some stuff here where I've been waffling a little bit and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm on a fruit fast, so I'm a little bit all over the place at the minute. But yeah, 100%. You can always contact us, inbox us, email us, or even if you want to give us a call, then just give us a call. And yeah, we're always more than happy to talk about anything water related and yeah, try and give you the best understanding of it as we possibly can. But yeah, I appreciate you having us on here, Liz. It's been an absolute pleasure, as it
Thank you
always
so
is.
much for coming through, babe. And I'm sure we will have the chance to do this again at some point. So yeah, thank you so much.
Definitely. Yeah. All right, nice one, Liz. Thank you.
Thanks, darling.
You have a lovely day. Cheers.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.